Well, our title this morning, 5 loaves, 2 fish, and 15 Big Macs. 5 loaves and 2 fish, we know where that comes from the feeding of the 5,000 in the Gospels, which, by the way, shows up in 2 or 3 different forms, but I think refers to the same event. For the 15 Big Macs, I'm indebted to Donna Wick, the founder of the Center for Positive Change in Houston, Texas. Her story about her and her daughter appeared in one of the Chicken Soup for the Soul series. She's not in the clergy, and the story never mentions the name of the church. But it did occur to me that her organization's title wouldn't be a bad name for any congregation. How about the West Newbury Congregational Church, a center for positive change? I don't know if there's room on the sign out front, but I kind of like it. Here is Donna's story. She calls every Thursday Thankful Thursday, because on that day each week she takes her 2 young daughters, and they set out to make a positive contribution somewhere in their world. On one particular Thursday, she had no idea what that contribution would be, but she was certain something would present itself. They had been out driving around for a while in downtown Houston when her 2 little ones announced that they were hungry, and Donna saw that in fact it was time for lunch. The girls began chanting, "McDonald's, McDonald's." So Donna began looking for the Golden Arch. When she realized that just about every intersection they drove through had a panhandler looking for change, it dawned on her that they must be hungry also. And now Donna and her daughters had the opportunity they had been searching for. They found a McDonald's, and after ordering Happy Meals for her kids and herself, she ordered an additional 15 more and hit the road again. At each intersection, they first made a small cash contribution, told the person they hoped things would get better, and then handed them their McDonald's bag. There wasn't time for introductions or explanations, so they just went on their way. They finally came to their last stop and repeated what they had done in the first 14. Donna then made a U-turn at that intersection to head back home. However, as she turned, so did the light to red, and she had to stop. The small young woman who had been the last recipient began to approach the car. Although a bit apprehensive, Donna rolled down the window. With a look of amazement on her face, the woman said, "No one has ever done anything like this for me before." Feeling a little embarrassed, Donna replied, "Well, I'm glad we were the first. So when do you think you'll have lunch?" The woman quickly replied, "Oh, honey, I'm not going to eat this lunch. You see, I have a little girl of my own at home, and she just loves McDonald's. But I can just about never buy it for her, because I just don't have the money. But you know what? Tonight, she is going to have McDonald's." Donna had sometimes questioned whether such acts of kindness were too small or insignificant to really effect change. But in that special moment, she realized the truth of Mother Teresa's words. We cannot do great things, only small things, with great love. Well, this sermon's about half over. We've got Donna's half. Now, what is ours? How do we react to what she did? It does make me feel good, but I must be candid. I also have mixed feelings. The account, like most in the chicken soup series is rather simplistic and sentimental. For those of us who have, as we say, been around, we want to ask some questions, look a little closer. Was this young woman really deserving of Donna's help? Is she truly a rather helpless victim? Is she possibly reaping now what she sowed earlier? Is she possibly just too lazy to get a job or the training to be eligible for one? Is she an alcoholic too proud to try AA? Did she marry Mr. Wrong against everyone's advice and had to leave with her daughter, when everyone proved right and he became abusive? Then again, maybe it was a good marriage, but he died in an accident, and the state of Texas doesn't offer very much for widows in her predicament. I want to feel and be compassionate. I want to trust that impulse in me, but I also want to trust the people who ask for my help. I want them to be worthy, to be innocent victims. I want assurance that they really deserve my money, my help. I want to like them, and I want to go away with a good, warm feeling, like Donna did. I often do. My wife and I support the work of the Upper Valley Haven in White River Junction. They do great work sheltering the homeless and going beyond that with counseling and job training to keep them from becoming homeless in the future. Here's a brief testimonial from a woman the Haven helped in a recent newsletter. I couldn't seem to catch a break. My car broke down, so I couldn't get my children to school or myself to work. I had a job, but my employer was struggling to make ends meet as well. My paychecks constantly bounced. I had no money to fix my car, and I was faced with the unimaginable decision of whether to pay overdue utility bills, rent, or shop for a decent supply of food for the week. I hated to have my children see me in such a hopeless position. If I couldn't be strong for us, who would be? The Haven helped me find a new, more stable job. They loaned me the money to catch up on my rent and fix my car. I am now in the position to start paying the Haven back. Thank goodness I found the Haven when I did. Signed, Karen M., a community member. See, that's it. That's what we want. But now we jump to Jesus. Consider his efforts on behalf of the 10 men that Debbie read for us a few minutes ago. The dreaded skin disease is elsewhere translated as leprosy, a kind of gangrene of the skin. A person's skin would turn black and literally rot. It was thought to be contagious, and they had no cure whatsoever. Lepers were quarantined on the edge of the village. They had to leave parents, spouses, children, and if someone in their vicinity outside of the quarantined area ran across them, they had to shout out, "Unclean, unclean," and walk a good distance away from whoever might have been in their path. If the condition reversed itself, as it occasionally did in early stages, then the person had to go to the local rabbi and prove that he was clean before he could be reintegrated into the community. Usually, leprosy was first a social and later a physical death sentence. These 10 knew Jesus had already healed a leper, recorded for us in chapter 5 of Luke's Gospel, and they pleaded for his compassion. All 10 experienced a deliverance they had not dreamed possible before Jesus. But only one came back to express gratitude for having their lives restored to them. And Jesus did feel violated. He was hurt and angered at their ungratefulness. He had done a wonderful work, but he was not left feeling wonderful. He says to the one who did come back and thank him, "Where are the other 9? But in the very next chapter, he went ahead and healed a blind man. Christ had registered his disappointment at the failure of the 9 to acknowledge the very saving of their lives. He had. But he didn't miss a beat in his ministry. His heart remained wide open to the needy. The blind man did express expected gratitude. So for the 2 chapters, Jesus was 2 out of 11. If you do the math, that comes to about 18%. Should we expect really to do better than Jesus? At the end of the day, it really isn't about our being able to feel good about doing good. It isn't about our own needs being met when we seek to help the needy. What it is about is grace and compassion. For us to behave, to act, to feel gracious and compassionate, and so to participate in the life of God ourselves, whether or not the recipients of our help choose to respond graciously. We are called to take part in, to become part of something bigger than ourselves. We have a name for that something. We call him, we call her God. We are cautioned with good reason to stay within the life of God, to resist the understandable temptation to turn from grace and compassion when ours is not returned by its recipients. In the end, an ungrateful world put Jesus on a cross, but he rose above even that. I hope Donna will continue with her Thankful Thursdays, even if no deserved gratitude is returned to her. You and I are then left to consider what we will do this coming Thursday or any other day of our choosing.